our topic list, we have the Cleveland at Pittsburgh, one of the wild card games, and still on schedule in spite of COVID over in the Cleveland Browns. Apparently, head coach and a couple players are out, rumored to be basically bringing up third stringers, and Pittsburgh is home, right? And they're favored 6 in this matchup.
Yeah, last week was kind of a big matchup, wasn't it?
And I think that Pittsburgh could have won that if they actually tried.
Right.
Even with their second and third stringers out there. I mean, but think about it. There's no. If they would have won, that may have put them up in what, second seed if they won, and I don't even know if that's. And I don't even know if that's a guarantee because Buffalo won their game. So
right, Buffalo is what, 11 and what was that? 11 and 4.
Buffalo is 11 and 5.
11 and 5, yeah.
No, Pittsburgh would have had the second seed.
Yeah,
If they would have won the game, they would have had the
12
second
and
seed.
2, right?
Because they wound up finishing with the same record.
They would have been 12 and 2.
Not 12 and 2. 12 and 4 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 12 and 4. No, they lost 4 times.
Ain't nobody got. The only person that didn't lose 4 times was Kansas City.
14 and 2.
Everybody else is 12 and 4 or 13 and 3.
Okay.
That's very interesting.
Well, Pittsburgh would have been 13 and 2. They
would have been 13.
They lost. The Pittsburgh was what?
They were
11 and 5.
They went on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember, I predicted 2 of them.
Yeah, you did.
So my take on it is, this game, like you postpone games all season long. Why are you not postponing this game?
So Steelers did finish their season 12 and 4. Bills were 13 and 3. So if they would have won against the Browns, it would have tied the Bills. But would they have taken the second seed?
No, because the Bills would have.
I think Pittsburgh was ahead. They were ahead with
Well, they would have been tied on conference, and they would have Bills would have had a better division record.
Okay. Well, they're not in the same division though. So.
I know, so I don't know if that matters.
And that's a division.
So that was
a division game. That was a division game. So they actually didn't need that. But my take on it is, when we talk about the COVID thing, you're postponing games, playing them on Tuesday to give people a chance to get through it all. And now you're not. Why? Because it's a playoff game. You're cheapening the product that you're giving to the fans by not allowing them to do what you did all season.
Well, the flip argument there is they've already sealed the division. They're either going to be second or third, in the lineup anyway. They're guaranteed their spot in the playoffs. I mean, to them, there's a better strategic to prepare for the playoff run rather than play that last game.
Well, that was the last game. I'm talking about the one coming up.
Well, the one coming up, I mean,
this is where everybody's out. This is what I'm saying. You gave people a chance. You moved games to Tuesday all the time during the season. Now you're not. And that's what I'm saying. You're making one team play with nobody, and you're making another team play with
during the season, you have that flexibility. During playoffs, you don't.
Yeah. Don't see how that matters when you got days to prepare afterwards, even though it may be a short week. Pittsburgh had short weeks all season because of COVID. So did Baltimore. And they moved these games so these guys could play at full strength. I don't understand why you're cheapening it during the playoffs.
Once again, during the regular season, they could shift it a few days, and they could eventually get it back on schedule because they have a little bit more wiggle room. During the playoffs, you have to play next week. Are you really going to shift it a few more days?
And that's what I'm saying. They did actually shift games. When they were playing
understand during regular season.
On Sunday, they moved the game to Tuesday to do this. So now you're playing on a Saturday or Sunday. Well, you move their next game to Sunday, and you give them other days to whatever. It's still the same thing.
I don't know. I understand. So basically, we'll go off of what we were just saying.
Is that too tilted?
I think that's fine.
Oh, yeah, back again.
So what do you guys think? John and I we're going back and forth. Chuck, what do you got on this?
We got to shorten that talk. Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Just keep it to so many of their second, third strings. What are they going to do this week versus last week? And since we're in playoff mode now, that's what you are bickering and arguing about.
Well, we're not bickering and arguing. It's just a difference of opinion.
It's called jabbing. All right, 3, 2,
go ahead, Chuck.
1. Sports fans, here we go again. Half-baked sports. Oh, we're starting over.
He's killing me.
He threw me off. I'm like, wait, what are we talking about here?
We're in
What are we talking about here? Like,
Because I'm gonna have to use this one. This one's backup.
Okay. All right, so y'all were bickering about these two guys,
Yeah.
Cleveland, Pittsburgh,
We're bickering about whether or not they should extend the game and like push
and he
it so
doesn't
everybody can play.
understand that this is playoff week. So are
No,
we
he understands.
No,
he just doesn't.
understand that.
He doesn't understand the double standard of why you're gonna push it. I understand it. I don't think that you can. You know, you're on a time schedule.
maybe 2 days at most differential, but it's not going to go past.
Well, that's what I was saying too.
So I am all for them playing the game. The reason why is this: we all know COVID's going to happen. We all know we know it's in the air. We know about it. Okay, so you can't sit there and postpone the game simply because players got COVID. Because think about this: would they have stopped the game? Would they have postponed the game if all the second string got COVID? No, because all the starters are there. So just because the starters got it, that's the point of having the second and third strings. So if you drafted well and you built your roster well, your team should be good enough to survive without the starters. You should plan for. So keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. Yeah. See, I mean, I get why you do it during the regular season. You have a little bit more wiggle room. I just don't see the wiggle room as being really available because one time they had to push the Pittsburgh almost to like the next weekend.
They actually pushed it to their bye week one time.
Right.
They
So
swapped it to their bye week.
it was just a little bit of a debacle. But so I think we kind of covered it.
I mean, win or lose, it doesn't matter as long as it's good football out there. And I would think the best should go against the best. That's all I really would say.
Yeah.
Right, but then the problem becomes is what? So you're saying the best goes against the best. Then your team should be loaded with nothing but good.
No team is that loaded.
Right.
Sorry,
So
no team.
So
Unless you're the Lakers, no team is that loaded.
So then that's where your point becomes mute because at the end of the day, whoever I have on my team because I drafted well and I got a roster well and I traded well, that's who it is. So if Deshaun Watson goes out, McCarron should be good enough to survive.
You cannot say this.
No, what I'm saying is he should be good enough. He's the second string, right? He should be good enough to carry the ship.
In this league right now, there was only one quarterback that was good enough to replace the starter, and that was Jalen Hurts. That was the only backup quarterback that was good enough to replace the starter and keep the game going. I would give what's his name in Dallas, Andy Dalton.
No, he was a
He's
starter
number two, but he was a starter.
He was already a starter. He knew what
he knew what needed to be done. Your backups are there to replace somebody in the meantime while they heal up. I give you that. All I was trying to say was it's a playoff game. You want the best football out there, and you're gonna have a top tier team playing against a mediocre team, and that's not good football. I'm sorry. That's all I'm saying.
But what team are you talking about? Because both teams. I mean, if you're talking about the Steelers are mediocre, then I agree with you. But if you're calling the Browns mediocre, I don't see how.
Without the key players, they are mediocre.
Well, first of all, if you looked at Baker Mayfield's games, when the stars are not there, he has better games because now he doesn't have to force feed those balls.
I hate to apologize to you, Baker. I never really watched a lot of your games.
Either way you go, I think we're kind of in a little bit of a disagreement. Obviously, he wants to see it pushed so that we can see all the starters. I just don't see that as being
Necessary.
well. I don't think that it's
not
really,
sound.
It's not a good because then it's gonna off shift something. I think we should keep it the way it's going. All right. So moving on. Next topic, we have the coaching carousel has already begun.
Yes.
Obviously, the most talked about one, and I would like to throw my 2 cents in, is the Chargers. The LA Chargers got rid of Anthony Lynn. Granted, I get it. For 4 years, he finished 33 and 31. But he had a couple of good years right there before they got rid of Rivers. Rivers' last year, I think, was like a 7 and 9. Yeah. This year, it was really bad, but they had Justin Hubert, who definitely showed like he's got some potential. They missed Joey Bosa a few times, which hurt them in the defense. But they have a solid core group of people that if they get a few key components, the Chargers are competitive. And I think out of the remaining teams that we know of right now, which are the Texans, the Jets, and the Jags, whoever manages to fill that Chargers seat, I think they're stacked. I think they've got the best potential of doing something, even though they got to face Kansas City twice.
Yep. And the problem with that is this is why I say the firing was premature because the problem is for those 4 years he built this team. Then now that this team is in position to become a contender to Kansas City, you let him go, and then now it's like what's there doesn't make sense without him because the next person coming in, like what's his name, Desmond King, the strong safety. Okay, he gets kind of injured. He has this injury bug going around with him. So do you trade him for trade value to get somebody else? Because you think about it.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's a GM and new head coach decision, and I don't see that. I definitely see that as a talking point.
Right.
Because even if you don't trade him to get value, you're going to have to find a suitable person to plug in to make sure he's not doing every down. You want to give him that time to rest, time to heal. It's like what they did with J.J. Watt a few years ago, where they basically had him in there for 2 to 3 snaps and pulled him out,
but
and then put him in.
But see, the problem that becomes is this. So J.J. Watt, when they did that with him, already got a big money contract.
Yeah.
This guy has not.
Oh, I know.
He's going to come up and say, hey, well, I'm like the number 3, I'm on top 3 safety in the league, which he is.
He is.
So you want top 3 safety money. You're not going to give it to him because he's like, you're not playing him down, though.
Right.
See what I'm saying? You run into problems, and then even with the new coach coming in, what if he needs a mobile quarterback? I'm not necessarily a mobile quarterback.
No, they've got Justin Hubert. He did a great job getting the ball down the field.
But
they have a solid running back in Eckler. They have Hunter as the tight end.
Right.
I mean,
but
and they still have Keenan Allen.
But the new coach has to. Outside of everybody else around him, like Eckler and even Hubert, are the reason why I'm saying they're questionable. And I'm going to throw out questionable is because the new coach has to be married to those guys outside the running back. He has to be married to Hubert.
Well, the thing about
coming in.
He has to be sold on Hubert. But I don't know. I mean, that's a valid point. But I mean, I still think that out of all the other teams, that's the best.
He should not have been fired. Period.
Well, I don't think
that's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
think he should have been fired. The team, like Josh said, the team is there. Like you said, there are elements on this team right now with a little bit more. They are a contender to go against the Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs in that division, at least to knock down the Raiders.
But even in their losses,
what I'm saying is, we're asking, should this guy have been let go? Why did he get let go? Management does what management does. Our opinions is real simple. None of us think he should have been fired.
I don't.
I think he should have been given at least 2 more years with this team before they even
thought
about messing.
If I was a GM, I definitely would have quietly said, "Hey, look, if we don't see some real potential here in the next 2 years, some improvements, we're going to be looking to go." But I would have at least given him 2 years to try to solidify.
But you did see because in all their losses, if you go back and look at all their losses,
I know.
They only lost by a field goal.
They
didn't lose by 2 touchdowns. No game they lost by 2 touchdowns.
And even that first game against the Chiefs was by 3
with 3 points.
So, and I agree. Here's a funny part about this whole story. I saw an article to where they were making an appointment to interview Jason Garrett, third offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I heard that
for the New York Giants.
I heard that.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. They're in that article. They said that they're not going to rush into anything. The GM is taking this thing seriously. Obviously, he even knows they have the good elements within the team. They just need to get something to bring it together.
He's got experience.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
He played for America's number 1.
Take a look what Jason Garrett did with Giants this year. I mean, even though they were 6 and 9, 6 and 10 or whatever they finished, they still had they had a potential. They did their job.
Yeah.
They beat Dallas.
Yeah.
Right? They just need Philly to, take down Washington.
They needed Philly to play.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Garrett's the new coach of the Los Angeles Chargers.
Well, I hope that they actually take some of that. Well, there was a list of other people that they were looking at, but I mean, out of all of them, I think he's the one that's hungry for another head coaching position.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
What about Gary Cooper?
But I hope not. He's retired, I think.
No, he's offensive coordinator for Minnesota.
Who?
Gary Kubiak?
Yeah.
He's offensive coordinator for
I think
it's no, that's Roman, Rick Roman.
I thought he was offensive coordinator somewhere. I just don't know.
I thought that Kubiak retired after the Super Bowl.
No, he went to Denver.
He got the Super Bowl
in Denver.
But he's not there anymore.
No, I could have sworn it was Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I thought Minnesota.
Anyway,
sorry.
we don't know. We'll have to figure that out later. But other coaching carousels, obviously Texans are going to be interviewing.
Yeah.
Right now, the new GM for the Texans is Nick Caserio. Is that how you pronounce that? I don't know how to pronounce it. New England. He was the New England Director of Player Personnel.
Yeah.
And of course, as we've discussed earlier, this is nothing more than the Texans trying to be like New England. Even though Belichick's not, or I'm sorry, not Belichick is definitely not there, and neither is Bill O'Brien. But hey, Texan fan, you want to pipe?
You keep bringing in these wannabe Patriot people, or old Patriot people, current Patriot people, Bill Belichick back pocket people, whatever you want to call it. The Texans need to do their own thing. You keep going over there, but they got 6 rings. They built a dynasty over there. Though they don't, everywhere they went, as Chuck has pointed out, these people that leave there, they don't stay where they're at and they don't help anything. Bill O'Brien already came here and screwed things up. You gonna bring another one? I mean, come on, really? You got Deshaun Watson tweeting, some things never change. I mean, I'm thinking it. I can only imagine what J.J. Watt is thinking. At this point, why are we still doing the same bullshit?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm cursing, but I mean, to me, that's what it is.
We gotta keep in mind too.
You have Eric Bieniemy over there in Kansas City. You haven't even offered him an interview. Deshaun Watson, your quarterback, said, keep me in the loop on this. You said yes. He said, can we interview Bieniemy? You didn't even send the man an offer. Then you already hired a GM that you knew he wasn't going to be a fan of. This don't make any sense. It's like Cal McNair. I don't know what you're thinking, but
being a GM, and that's acquiring talent. There's not going to be a lot of player GM interaction outside of the initial hire. I get it though if you wanted to do something like a head coach or a quarterback's coach for Deshaun, but I don't see the GM being that big of it.
What I'm looking at is we keep bringing these. I'm not gonna call them rejects because
they're not rejects.
But you keep bringing the same thing in here and it does not work. You have to do something different. That's all I'm saying.
I have one question. How many drafts do you believe the Texans should be allowed to have this coming?
Oh, they only
have 5
6,
picks.
7.
They got 5 picks.
And none in the first 2 rounds. It's all third. It's all third and lower.
Third and down.
Yeah, I think it's like what
They got
1 3, 2 4s, 3 6s, and a 7.
So Deshaun Watson's unhappy there. If he leaves there, who do you see replacing? Starting quarterback.
McCarron. What you talking about?
Yeah, AJ McCarron's there. They may go out and get Colt McCoy again.
Or Robert Griffin III.
That wouldn't be a bad one.
Andy Dalton from the Cowboys.
Yeah, he'll be available.
Okay, now with J.J. Watt wants to get
Or
traded.
Dak Prescott's still available.
Well, he will.
You know, Jimmy Jones is gonna. Jerry Jones is gonna lock that contract.
Texas got enough cap space.
They don't have any cap space. That's the problem. Unless they let Deshaun and JJ go, they don't have any cap space.
But I think
one of them would have to go for them to have cap space.
Well, both of them have already asked. Deshaun's already asked for a trade.
Well, he hadn't asked. That's a rumor. JJ is actually thinking about it. Deshaun just said because of this scenario.
JJ said he's not going to be here for a rebuild. You're rebuilding.
Yeah,
so
real building stage.
That question's already answered.
Yeah.
And Deshaun is not stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be here to take these licks because guess what? You got no line to protect.
And that's a huge. Well, luckily, if they use their 3 and 4 round draft picks, they could probably pick up some decent offensive linemen from like Iowa or Nebraska.
You would have to sell out in the draft for the offensive line. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, but now you wouldn't have to sell out. You should be able to get
save your quarterback.
They always drop to like.
I'll say this here.
What I mean is like. All your picks have to be offensive.
But I'm saying,
because it makes no sense.
If you watch,
and unfortunately, that's going to kill you because you probably need to get some good
defensive.
But if you watch,
positions.
But I'm saying, like I said, if you watch Deshaun Watson's body of work these last 5-6 games, he had no Will Fuller, no Cobb, no what's the other guy named Cooks, no Steele. He did it with practice squad players and Kiki Kuti, and he still led the league in passing yards.
Yeah,
he had the highest passer rating. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm still mad about the Hopkins thing, but at the end of the day, he still got it done. The defense didn't do it. So if you bulk up the line, and you're gonna have to replace some of them defensive players anyway. But you trade some of those people, like J.J. Watt said. If you don't want to come to work every day, don't be here.
But the problem with the reason why JJ, if he is looking for a trade, is look what all he had to do and endure just to get to that. Imagine if he had just an offensive line, he would do more.
Oh, yeah.
He has to take all that abuse every year. That's daunting on a person. Like, I gotta take this hit.
But then, isn't
That's
him
crazy?
Isn't him running out to the side, extending his space? Isn't that like his forte even back?
Yeah, that's what he does.
Well, he has to because the pocket keeps relaxing.
I understand he has to, but that was one of the primary reasons why they drafted him. Right. On top of that, that's what he's used to in Clemson.
Yeah,
he did do that a lot in Clemson. Yeah.
So, but the thing with J.J. Watt, I mean, sorry, the thing with the Texans is this. Honestly and truthfully, my thing is this: you need to trade J.J. Well, I mean, I think he's not a free agent yet. No. Okay, so you need to trade J.J. You need to trade Merciless. If Watson is requesting a trade, get what you can for him and rebuild. Because the problem at this point is you can't do anything outside of trading somebody big to bring draft picks in or somebody else in. Now, some people will come to play, like a wide receiver will come to play with J.J. Watt, but then they're looking at the mess that's happening here. They're like,
and I think, outside of J.J., and I know that people are gonna, probably condemn me for this option, but Larry Tunsil, right? That's that left side tackle.
Trade.
They need to get rid of him because he's a hit on the cap.
Yeah.
And I'm serious. If you use your 3rd round draft pick for a good left tackle, you'll be able to find him.
But I had the same thing with less penalties.
But the problem is that the problem I have with even Lerman Thompson, before you even got that, when you had Dwayne Brown wanted to stay, he just wanted more money, and he wanted an apology from the owner.
Yeah.
If you got those two, you will still have Dwayne Brown, because guess what? Dwayne Brown is still a top 3 talent at the left tackle position in Seattle.
Yep.
He's protecting Russell Wilson's blind side, and he got a Super Bowl ring.
And
that makes no sense. And if you had paid him, you wouldn't be paying Dwayne Brown Lerman Tunsil's money. You'd be paying Dwayne Brown like maybe $20 million less. Because that's what he was asking for.
But anyway, so Caleb, you got anything last minute to throw in on this one, or are we ready to move on?
When it comes to the Texans, happy rebuilding, guys.
I can see Bill O'Brien given another head coaching job in about 5 years. It'll be the Jets.
The Jets is open right now. He may be going.
Right now.
And of course, the fourth team that was open as far as head coaching is Jags. And I heard a rumor that even the Detroit Lions might be moving away from.
They did. They fired him.
You blame him?
Okay, not at all.
They did. He might be coming back to New England.
No, wow.
We won 2 Super Bowls with his defense. What you mean?
Well, that's because he knows how to run.
Yeah,
the defense from Belichick.
That's what I'm saying. I'll
anyway,
back up.
The other thing that came up was kind of a surprise to some, not a surprise to others, is the Dwayne Haskins release from Washington. My personal opinion is I think they threw him to the wolves. He wasn't quite ready. But as we all know, it's a win now league. It's next man up. I mean, all those cliches are true in NFL. I mean, there's a limit on how many people they can pull in and how many people they can suit up. So it's sad that a man like Dwayne Haskins wasn't prepared, or maybe just wasn't ready, because he did have a really good career in, I believe it was Ohio State. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And but yeah, we saw him kind of, we saw some good things, but we saw him mostly falter over there at the quarterback position in Washington, which is a shame because they had the defense to support him. As well as the offensive line.
I just don't think he was coached right. I'm gonna say it that way. He had he's 2 years in. He had 2 head coaches. You're 2 different offenses. I mean, it's like you're setting me up to fail. But here, let me get a try. Oh wait a minute, you're messing up. I'm gonna pull you on the bench and throw somebody else out there. This has been Washington's problem all year. Okay. Haskins. What's his name?
Adam Smith.
Smith is hurt. Your turn. Get on out there and do what you do. And then, okay, give him the shot. I mean, literally give him the shot. You made the playoffs with him out there.
Yeah.
Some of them games are not Alex Smith's games. Some of them games are his games. And you made the playoffs with that. So for you to let him go, I understand. Off the field antics, I get that. On the field antics, he wasn't. You guys let him down, and then he gets fired. It's kind of weird, but like I said, I saw it coming for the simple fact his play wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst thing I've seen this whole season. So I think it's kind of shitty, but at the same token, it needed that.
And I have to agree, play wise, it wasn't as bad as it could be, but I mean, I have to admit though, coming from a point of professionalism. Maturity is huge, and if the league wants to move on from him because of the maturity level, that's their right to do so. As much as we may like or dislike it.
Yeah. Well, do we want to blame him or?
No.
I don't want to blame
goes
him.
both ways.
Yeah, I think
blame goes both
obviously
ways.
his maturity level is a little bit on him and also on the leadership there. Because normally that's their job to develop rookies and help them mature. Because a lot of these guys that come into the league, they're not used to handling the kind of money that they have.
And that's what we're saying. You throw a kid with no money, never had a dime, all of a sudden he go millions of dollars, and you expect him to sit at home and do nothing.
Yeah, not going to happen. He's going to be going to what was he doing? The strip clubs, the clubs, and the gun range or whatever.
And that's what young people do.
Yeah.
Especially if they got money, that's what they're going to do.
That's
but
funny.
at the same token,
hey, if I had money, I wouldn't be here.
I'd be in Jamaica.
I wouldn't be. Well, maybe I would be in Jamaica. You got good rum there, right?
One of them.
But anyway, so with the Dwayne Haskins, I remember I disagreed with y'all. So the problem I have with Dwayne Haskins, anything with him in Washington is, first of all, Jay Gruden didn't want him. Daniel Snyder wanted him because he was a homegrown kid. He was a homegrown talent. I think he was number 2 at the time.
Yeah.
So the number 2 quarterback at the time, or 3, he was in the top. And Daniel Snyder wanted him, and Jay Gruden didn't want him.
And so and that was the difference between head coach and was
right. So when Washington drafted him, you noticed that Dwayne Haskins didn't immediately start.
No.
Who was it? Was it Colt?
Colt McCoy.
It wasn't Colt. I don't think it was.
No, it was somebody before Colt McCoy.
I believe. That could have been Alex Smith because wasn't that 2 years ago?
So
when Alex Smith got that leg injury.
So even when Alex Smith went out, Dwayne Haskins didn't come right in.
No.
Colt McCoy came in.
Yeah.
And
then when he got hurt,
when Colt McCoy got hurt, that's when Dwayne Haskins came in. Jay Gruden prevented every chance he could possibly have to keep Dwayne Haskins in the back. And Dwayne Haskins felt that. As a player, you're like, well, I was the number 1 draft pick. Like, why am I not playing after Alex Smith? Oh, because and Jay Gruden came out and said, I didn't care. Like, once we had wasted that draft pick on Dwayne Haskins, I didn't care. He said that. That came out the coach's mouth.
Yep.
So he didn't care about this guy's development. So he knew he was going to put this kid out. And you saw it in the play calling his rookie year. You saw the play calling. Like, why would you have this man throw to somebody throw to this person and tell him to throw to this person when he could have did whatever Dwayne Haskins does?
Did his reads, whatever you want to call it.
And so Dwayne Haskins had that to learn on. So then coming here to the second season, he has another coach that said, I don't believe in you. So now here comes Alex Smith. Here comes Kyle Allen from his old team. Kyle Allen from Carolina.
Yeah.
For the Panthers come in. All these guys are ahead of you, and you're like, I was the first round draft pick. Y'all picked me. And so now he has no confidence. Well, quarterbacks, they need confidence for them to do what they do. So now he has no confidence. So now he's like, well, shoot, you paid me first draft money. I might as well do what I do because you don't have no. I don't see myself starting. So when Alex Smith goes down, Kyle Allen's injured too. Mm-hmm. You don't have Colt McCoy, so I'm the third string. Now the third string got to play. He's like, oh, I'm being thrust back in here. So he's like, well, I know y'all don't expect much out of me anyway. So let me just play.
I just remember something. That movie, Any Given Sunday.
Right.
So that's what that reminds me of. So Willie Beeman. That's who he is.
So it's like y'all said. It's actually now I'm thinking about it. It's accumulating y'all points too. You thrust this kid into the limelight. You thrust this kid with all his money, but you don't expect anything out of him. This is the results you get. He's a kid. He's still 20-something. He's 22.
I know.
What would you do with 22 years old with $25 million in your pocket?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go shopping.
You do not want me to answer
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not excusing the behavior, but at the same
I
time,
would have been at the
I
strip
get
club.
it. You're not excusing it or condoning it, but you understand it.
I understand.
And I think we all can come to that conclusion. Now let's go with a quick answer. Everybody gets a chance. Do you think he'll play in another team?
Yes, New England.
He'll play. He might. He actually might wind up there.
Well, yeah, because you know Belichick's moving off of.
Well, that's a topic I would like to discuss.
Also, there's a possibility of him going to the Jets
or Texans.
I'm not sure he's gonna go to the Texans.
Jaguars
maybe. No, they going. If Lawrence comes out, Jaguars gonna get him. They're gonna snatch that up. But there are a lot of teams that can use him as a backup right now and gear him up. Actually,
Dwayne Haskins, I think Baltimore should pick him up.
I think so. Yeah. I think they because
They fit.
they fit well.
They need
They
a
fit
mobile
well.
quarterback.
He's pretty mobile.
He's not as mobile.
He's not as mobile as maybe Lamar.
He's not mobile.
He's like Tom Brady. He is not moving.
Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins.
He's got no arm.
Okay.
He's not running. He got some too big of an arm to be running.
I'll take your word for it. I really haven't put too much
He is not
study into
moving.
that.
Gentlemen, I have a question to ask on this one.
All right.
The way the whole year's gone, do you think the effect of the name change for Washington that we know as the Redskins, and you take Redskins
I mean,
off,
formally
now they're
known
just
as the Redskins.
Washington?
We're going with this name change for the football
I
team.
mean,
I'm
do
sorry.
you think that really took a toll on the guys?
I don't think the name
No.
change should have.
Look,
I just
these
think
guys-
it was a stupid reason to change the name.
I do
I'm gonna
too.
say
I don't think
that.
they should have changed.
Well,
They
I
should've
don't think they
changed
should have
the name.
changed it either,
Do
but
you
I
think that affected
understand.
the players?
No, it didn't affect the
Well-
No, you kidding? These guys are professionals. I mean, think about how many different name changes they've gone throughout their, history of playing the football game. I mean,
Yeah.
all the way back to Pee Wee League, and then
Right.
and then your junior high, and then your high school, and then I know a lot of these guys have gone probably through multiple high schools,
And
depending
multiple high
on
school,
what.
multiple
Yeah.
colleges,
You know,
some of them transferred twice.
The
right?
reason the only reason I agree with the name change is this. When I read the story about the back history on why they were named the Redskins, then I was like, okay, I can see why they want the name change. So the original owner of the Redskins, he was a bigot, and he purposely named them the Redskins to throw jabs at. It was on purpose. That was his intent, and he made it known. So that's why that's why he named it that way. That's why they did this. Have to do the name change because everybody like we know the owner's original owner's intent. This is new ownership. We need a new persona. I get it.
Hopefully they come up with a better name.
Well, I'll say this here.
Oh, did y'all hear? There was a guy in DC. He bought up all the possible names that the Redskins could have, so they had to go to him to buy them. I was like,
Come on, like the Washington Senators.
he bought everything. Like I think he bought like over 100 names.
Are you serious?
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, I was
Just
like,
like they could buy the realty.
yeah. So he could buy. They had to come to him to buy the name.
Oh wow.
And
The
he only-
Red Tails are gone. What was it? The Red Foxes. He bought a lot of names.
All the red names.
All
Yeah,
red names.
yeah.
Well, anyway, that kind of wraps up some of the talking points. We would love to do more, but unfortunately we were limited on time. We'd like to end this segment and go into the next one here and discuss. Maybe just you want to do it quick, or you want to actually do an analytics of each
No,
game?
I'm gonna do it quick.
Quick. All right, so let's just do this quick. Then we're going to go over this week's wild card games and who our pick is, and maybe even a brief description. of it.
Brief description.
All right. So who wants to kick this off before I throw it?
I'll take Indy Buffalo.
Well, I was going to say who wants to start us off, but okay.
Oh, all right.
No, go ahead. One of the first games up is the Indianapolis at Buffalo. Buffalo locked up a very solid second
Very
seed.
solid. They locked up a solid season.
So who do you got?
Solid.
I have to go with Buffalo for one reason only. Phillip Rivers playing in the cold. I just don't see him winning that game at all.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have to disagree. For some reason, a stat that sticks out in my mind when I was living in San Diego, Rivers basically rarely had a losing game in November, December. So, although I do like Phillip Rivers, and I know he doesn't mind playing in the cold, I still have to stick with Buffalo just because I think Phillip Rivers still hasn't completely got over that tendency of throwing an interception or two.
Pressing too hard. Pressing too hard at the end of the game.
Exactly, and in this kind of a game, it's going to cost him because Buffalo has a solid running game, solid defense,
Yep.
solid passing, and unless that Indianapolis defense can get some pressure on the quarterback, Josh Allen, it's not going to happen. I'm going to go with Buffalo as well. What do you got?
Choose Buffalo. They have potential to get into or past divisional rounds, but they're going to have to really squeeze tight and hold them down, for sure. But I don't look past them for not being able to get in.
All right.
Buffalo is a complete team. That's the only out of everybody there. They're the only complete team in the playoffs, actually.
All right, Chuck. So you're going to go ahead and take the first on this one. Baltimore at Tennessee.
Tennessee, because Tennessee knows how to beat Baltimore. They beat them last
Short,
year.
sweet, to the point.
They beat them last year. They beat them this year. Like which one? They know how to stop them.
Tannehill and Henry all day, every day. They got to run again. Tennessee.
I like Tennessee, but I have to say they kind of lost an edge. This one I think can go either way. I like Tennessee at home. but I think I'm going to go ahead and lean on Baltimore. I'm going to say Baltimore.
Tennessee wins this game only if Tannehill can get those wide receivers open and get them the ball. That's the only way Tennessee can win that game. Otherwise,
Tennessee beat them with the run.
and
times.
they're prepared for that now. So now the wide receivers got to step up. Hang on, they've seen it twice this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to see it. There's not going to be a third. They seen it once in the playoffs last year, once this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be the same thing.
So
Baltimore wins this game.
So there was a
You
different
got Baltimore too?
Baltimore wins this game.
There was a different look the second time. When
If you get beat the third, if you
ran
get
down
beat,
their throat.
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me a third time, I don't need to play this game.
They might not play this game tonight.
All right, Kendall. I know we already kind of covered this earlier today. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Who do you got?
After what I saw last week, I mean, Baker Mayfield, he's not letting off the gas. Although I do give it to my buddy Ben. It's kind of up in the air for me, but I pick Cleveland.
You got Cleveland too? Look, that 2 point, they lost by 2 points with backups. I got to go with Pitt on this, and this is a statement win, especially if they want to do any kind of deep run.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh has got to make a statement. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going Pittsburgh.
I'm hoping Pittsburgh's offense shows up this game, so I'm going with Pittsburgh.
And that's the game of the night. That's Sunday Night Football.
That's Sunday Night Football. Yes, it is. Yep. Kansas City gets a bye week, so we ain't really got to talk about y'all.
Yeah. But with this win out, Baltimore would be playing Kansas City.
I would love to see that game.
And that would be an awesome game. And then Buffalo and Pittsburgh would be playing off, and that would be a good game too.
Yeah,
that's going to be a blowout. Buffalo and Pittsburgh, they're going to blow Pittsburgh out. Buffalo's going to.
Okay. All right, so now
we get to future cast.
All right, so now next up we have the NFC side. We have what's that?
What if it's Buffalo Cleveland?
Buffalo's still going to beat
No, Cleveland. If Cleveland wins, they're 6th seed.
Yeah.
They would go Kansas City.
Oh, well then Kansas City's going to blow. No, because the defense is still there.
So anyway,
close game.
So the next, so going on to the NFC, the first game on my list here is the Rams at Seattle. This one I like. I don't like because it's a division match. Just like with the Cleveland Pittsburgh, this is the same game part 3.
Yeah.
Literally.
Now with Goff being out, you have to give the leg up not only because of the home team, but because they've got a solid third ring and the solid third position in the draft. I got to go with Seattle on this. I think they shored up a lot of their holes in the early season, and you saw a more solidified Seattle going into the postseason. So I'm going Seattle. What do you got?
I like the Rams front four. I really, really like the Rams front four.
I'll give you that. Their defense is solid.
And Russell Smith, he's a Houdini back there. So the fact that Goff he's not the most mobile quarterback, but he's their best option at quarterback. It hurts them, but if that defense can actually do what they've been doing all year, we know what the familiarity this can go either way. That's why I'm gonna go with the Rams on this.
All right, so we got another Ram. What do you got, Kendall?
I'll go with Seattle.
You want Seattle?
And highlight everything he just said. Even though Goff's not there, well, they still have somewhat of a chance. But.
All right, Chuck, what do you got?
I'm going Rams based on defense and potential upset of the offense for the Rams.
Oh, we're getting attacked by puppies.
The Rams can actually surprise because the Seattle defense hasn't performed well at all the whole year.
And that's
so true. The reason why they have these high scoring games because the defense can't hold it.
I know.
So I'm betting on that the Rams defense will hold the Seahawks offense enough down to where at least the Rams offense.
I say 21-14.
Something like that.
Rams.
Yeah,
somewhere around
either or. Like you said, it could go both ways, but it's going to be a low score.
Well, I think just because it's in Seattle, I mean, you have it's always cold, it's wet.
Right.
That one's actually the one I'm most interested in watching just to see how it plays out.
Because the Rams still got Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Sam Darnold.
Yep.
But that other defensive end they got there, he a monster too. I watched the game a couple, 4 weeks ago, and Darnold was commanding everybody on him. this kid was still beating double teams also. And it was just like you don't have to. You these teams with these two double tight ends.
All I'm gonna say is
double
Seattle did beat them in like what was it that last game?
They beat them
the last game.
Yeah.
So Seattle has that leg up. They just recently faced them. They know what
Yeah.
they're doing. So that's why I'm going Seattle. But I think it's a good split. I think that's indicative of the fact that it can go either way.
We'll flip a coin that day and then heads or tails.
All right. So in the next game, we'll go ahead and start with you, Kendall. Tampa Bay at Washington.
Wow. That's almost a no-brainer.
They gave you the hard. No, they gave you the hard. What you talking about?
We're gonna go Tampa Bay all the way for sure. Our buddy Brady with his two best guys by his side, passing, running, what he has to do. They got Washington all day on that. Antonio Brown, he can't stop growing.
Chuck, what do you got on that one?
Obviously, Tampa Bay. If the right tackle can hold up against Chase Young, or right or left tackle can hold up against Chase Young, at least give him Brady 3 seconds. We're going.
Okay.
At 44 years old, he still has the quickest release in football.
Yeah.
With that being said, I cannot root for Tom Brady, so I'm going to Washington.
And as much, and for me, I'm going Tampa Bay. Although I do like that Washington defense. I was the one that predicted that Washington was going to take out Pittsburgh. They did. Washington with Alex Smith at the helm, they've got a solid game plan. So as much as I'll be rooting for them a little bit, we know that Tampa Bay, with the amount of talent that they have on that roster, is going to be a tough out, even though Washington's at home.
But I did say this from the beginning of the show before we started. I said, wouldn't it be funny if Washington ran the table and wound up in the Super Bowl?
That would
With that record.
I mean, that would be my sleeper team.
And that gives Alex Smith the bragging rights for Super Player of the Year.
I mean, honestly, I love Washington's defense with Jack Del Rio and Don Rivera on the side.
I know.
That's an awesome defense.
They're stacked. And honestly, it's like they're even better than Tampa Bay's with Todd Bowles. I thought that Tampa Bay would have a better defense.
They're just a good blitzing team, but I mean, put them in coverage. That's why they get blown out. I mean, that's how they get exposed.
Yep. All right, so the last one on the wild card weekend here is Chicago at New Orleans, and even with the struggle of New Orleans, I had to stick with New Orleans on this one. Being at home, being the number 2 seed, Chicago kind of got in there. You know, they kind of slid into that place, I think, with a couple of good games. Yeah. But they do have the Achilles heel. They do have Foles.
They have Trubisky also. They got 2 Achilles heels.
Well, Trubisky, if he's got a good game, they're going to stick with him. But if they throw in Foles, I think that's going to be that's the curveball that they like to throw out there. And if he comes in at halftime, then New Orleans might be.
It changes the game. It changes.
And I love, and it depends on how much of a lead they have. And we've seen, New Orleans hasn't been able to keep those leads. Or get the leads that they got last year.
Well, they had a bunch of players. The whole running back core actually was COVID.
All they had was even Kamara was out.
Yeah, everybody. Now you're looking at a full New Orleans.
And at home.
And at home too.
Yeah. So for me, I gotta go New Orleans.
Yeah, Kamara and Thomas and Breeze together. Those three. It's like the Aikman, Irving.
And they like to throw in. They like to throw in Hill, right?
And Hill, yes. And the best part about it is Kamara's not just a good running back. He's probably the best receiving running back in this game right now. So I'm gonna roll with New Orleans on this.
You want to get on camera? Come on, up here. Come on. You want to come up here? What?
You can do it.
You want to come up here? No? Okay. He's shy.
Come on,
right here. You want up here?
Come on, up. There you go. Come on, baby. There you go.
There you go. This is Honey. She's our lover dog.
She's one of our mascots. We got like 2 of them here. All right, go play.
So
Chuck on that one.
Chuck, New Orleans,
Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago.
Yeah, New Orleans.
I think we're all on that one, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. And then, like last but not least, like we did Kansas City, Green Bay, you're not playing, so we're really not talking about you guys. We'll see you guys next week.
But with what we've picked, I mean, obviously the only one that we were split on was the Seattle Rams, and that's true. If Rams win, they go to Green Bay.
Yeah.
All right. If Seattle wins, then it's most likely going to be Tampa Bay because we're pretty sure Chicago's not.
And I would love to see Tampa Bay fight it out with Green Bay.
That would be
it. You remember that one thing I said last year before last, like the old guard versus the potential. It was Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
Oh yeah, but you were hoping for like Tom Brady and like Mahomes.
Mahomes or Drew Brees versus Tom Brady, like either the two big old, the best ones, or the two best top young ones. Well, and what we got was a
Garoppolo.
Yeah,
Mahomes.
yeah, you know.
Wait. But Tom Brady and Mahomes did face off twice.
No. I'm talking about in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
not during the season. I'm talking about
it's
during.
impossible for two AFC.
But I'm just saying during the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he was
the game is on the line.
Like,
It's the
he was
biggest
hoping for
one.
Breeze in there rather than Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Maybe even Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't really fit the old guard like Breeze does, but still up there seasoned.
And now Aaron Rodgers is seasoned.
Yeah.
So
honestly,
that's going to be a good game. I think that's going to be a battle of the mind, battle of the will.
Out of everybody, I mean, when it comes to the AFC, obviously KC is the reigning champ and they're the favorite. But I think Buffalo's got a solid chance. And if Pittsburgh's got potential, just like Baltimore.
Right.
But I think they're fighting for that third possible.
Yeah. I picked Baltimore to beat Tennessee. Don't get me wrong. But if Tennessee can get to Kansas City, I think they could actually beat Kansas City.
Well, yeah, if Tennessee does that ground and pound like they did last year, where they keep Mahomes off the field,
I think they can.
The problem with Tennessee is their defense against Kansas City. They've proven that time and time again. Like that the defense that they try to run is like it's an old school Belichick where he ran the I think it was the 3-4.
Yeah.
The 3-4 when Romeo Cornell was there. Mike Vrabel was a key factor on that defense. So he tries to run the same system because that's what he knows. But the problem with that is if your corners are not, if your linebackers are not smart enough to peel back, because linebackers naturally come in. They're not designed to go all the way to the back. See, that's what's like most people leave. Like when Kansas City make their plays, it's in the middle of the field or on the outside. It's never like an underneath route that goes like that. It's always in the middle because I extended the play and then boom.
But
if you're going to question Tennessee's defense, you've got to question Kansas City's defense.
Well, it doesn't matter because the offense can score so many points. Yeah. So it's mute.
That's also
because all they need to do is stop all they need to stop is your offense one time. That's game.
Right.
Well, Mahomes plays the baseball.
Anyway, so hey, thanks for joining us. We always love doing these little skits and sports talk stuff for you guys. So stay tuned to us. We're gonna try to do a live segment here at some point. We're gonna
next weekend is actually we were supposed to schedule one for next weekend. I want Sunday, but I mean once you clear, are you clear for the evening? We can do one Sunday.
All right. Well, we're gonna attempt to do a live video and we're gonna do our own coverage and basically watch our reactions to one of the games.
Yes.
So all right, thanks again. Any last words, gentlemen?
Happy 2021.
Thanks for watching us. Through all this COVID-19 2020 sucky season. 2021 is here, y'all. Let's go and get this party started.
That's right.
All right.
And on that note,